In 2023, Christopher Nolan did the impossible. A 3-hour movie about physics, politics, and the atom bomb made nearly $1 billion, won the Oscar Award for Best Picture and Best Director. So what do you make after a success like that? Not a sequel, not a franchise, not another sci-fi thriller. Instead, Nolan chose to adapt a story written nearly 3,000 years ago, the Odyssey, and convinced Universal to spend around $250 million bringing it to life. Hello and welcome to Box Office Bhaskar. This channel exists to pull back the curtain on the global film industry. I examine film through 3 lenses: the business behind it, the content within it, and the audience behavior that drives it all. If you want to understand film at a deeper level, you're in the right place. The Odyssey is one of the most important box office experiments of the decade, a test of whether audiences will still show up for original, large-scale filmmaking in an era dominated by sequels, superheroes, and cinematic universes. Because if Nolan is right, the Odyssey could prove that visionary filmmakers can still rival Hollywood's biggest franchises. And if he is wrong, this could become the most expensive gamble of his career, and the result could shape the future of blockbuster cinema for years to come. At its core, the Odyssey tells one of humanity's oldest stories. Following the Trojan War, King Odysseus embarks on a 10-year journey home to Ithaca, encountering mythical creatures, vengeful gods, and seemingly impossible obstacles along the way. The story has influenced literature, theater, cinema, and popular culture for centuries, yet few filmmakers have attempted to bring the entire epic to the screen on this scale. Nolan's version arrives with an extraordinary ensemble cast, led by Matt Damon as Odysseus, alongside Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, and a very long list of big stars in the supporting cast. The film is scheduled for release on July 17, 2026 through Universal Pictures. While the story itself is ancient, the scale of the production is entirely modern, and this is where the real story begins. When most people hear that a movie costs $250 million, they assume that is the amount the studio needs to recover. In reality, that figure only covers the production itself: actors, crew, locations, sets, costumes, visual effects, and post-production. What it does not include is marketing. For a global tentpole release of this size, marketing costs can easily reach another $150 million or even $200 million. By the time advertising comes in, international promotion, premiere events, and distribution expenses are included, Universal's total investment could realistically approach $450 million to $500 million. That creates an uncomfortable reality. Movie studios do not keep every dollar generated at the box office. A substantial portion goes to cinema operators and distribution partners. As a rough rule, studios often receive only around half of global ticket sales. This means a film costing close to $500 million may need to generate approximately $1 billion worldwide before it becomes comfortably profitable. That is an extraordinary target. Only a small number of films in history have crossed the $1 billion mark, and most belong to established franchises such as The Dark Knight, Star Wars, or Avatar. The Odyssey has none of those advantages. There are no superheroes, no cinematic universe, and no built-in audience cultivated over multiple films. Instead, Universal is effectively betting Christopher Nolan himself is the franchise. One reason the industry remains optimistic about the Odyssey is Nolan's remarkable track record. Throughout his career, he has consistently pushed large-scale filmmaking towards increasingly ambitious territory. Batman Begins reinvented the superhero genre. Inception transformed a complex original concept into an $800 million global success. Interstellar proved audiences would embrace intellectually demanding science fiction, and Oppenheimer demonstrated that a serious historical drama could become a cultural event. Viewed in that context, The Odyssey feels less like a sudden departure and more like the culmination of Nolan's entire career. Many of his recurring themes are already embedded within Homer's story. The passage of time, the consequences of obsession, humanity confronting forces larger than itself, and the tension between destiny and free evil. Rather than adapting the poem, Simply because it is famous, Nolan appears to be treating the Odyssey as a canvas large enough to contain everything he has spent 2 decades exploring as a filmmaker. That ambition is precisely why Universal was willing to finance the project at such a huge scale, although ambition alone does not guarantee commercial success. If there is one factor that could determine the fate of the Odyssey, it is IMAX. The film represents a major technological milestone as the film has been shot entirely using IMAX 70mm film cameras. To understand why that matters, it is important to understand Nolan's philosophy. Most modern blockbusters are designed to look good everywhere, from mobile phones and streaming services to multiplexes. Nolan approaches filmmaking very differently. He believes cinema should offer something that cannot be replicated at home. For him, the theatrical experience is not something about storytelling, but about scale, immersion, and spectacle. IMAX is central to that vision. The large film format captures vastly more visual information than conventional digital formats, producing extraordinary image detail, depth, and texture. In practical terms, it creates an experience that feels physically larger than life. This is not merely an artistic decision alone, it is also a business strategy. IMAX tickets command premium prices, and while IMAX screens represent only a small percentage of global theaters, they frequently generate a disproportionate share of revenue. During the run of Oppenheimer, IMAX contributed hundreds of millions of dollars to the film's overall box office performance. For the Odyssey, that relationship becomes even more important because the film was built around the IMAX experience from the very beginning. It is not simply available in IMAX, it was designed for IMAX. That distinction could significantly increase per ticket revenue and help offset the immense production costs. In many ways, The Odyssey is not just a movie, but a demonstration of what theatrical cinema can still offer in the streaming era. Despite the excitement surrounding the project, there are genuine reasons for caution. The first is audience awareness. Ancient Greek literature may be foundational to Western storytelling, but it is not necessarily mainstream entertainment, particularly among younger audiences. Unlike Batman or Iron Man, Odysseus is not a universally recognized modern pop culture figure. The second challenge is competition. Summer releases are scheduled increasingly in a crowded manner, and blockbuster audiences have limited time and money. A film costing $250 million cannot just perform, it has to dominate the box office. The third challenge involves expectations. Following the extraordinary success of Oppenheimer, expectations for Nolan are arguably higher than they have ever been, meaning anything less than another masterpiece risks being viewed as a disappointment. History also provides a warning. Not every Nolan film has achieved universal commercial success. Tenet remains a reminder that ambitious filmmaking can sometimes alienate mainstream audiences. If The Odyssey proves too dense, too abstract, or too demanding for casual viewers, it could struggle to achieve the broad appeal required for billion-dollar box office numbers. Unlike franchise films, there is no built-in safety net. Everything depends on audience reception. Dismissing The Odyssey would be equally dangerous. Christopher Nolan has repeatedly demonstrated an ability to transform seemingly difficult concepts into mass market events. Few people believe that a 3-hour film about theoretical physics, government hearings, and moral responsibility could approach $1 billion. Yet, Oppenheimer did exactly that. The strongest argument in favor of The Odyssey is simple. Nolan's films tend to become cultural moments. Audiences do not merely watch them. They discuss them, debate them, and recommend them to others. Strong reviews and positive word of mouth can dramatically alter a film's commercial trajectory. If The Odyssey delivers that kind of emotional and visual experience Nolan is promising, the conversation around budgets, controversies, and projections may quickly become irrelevant. At that point, the only thing that matters is whether audiences feel compelled to experience it for themselves. Ultimately, The Odyssey represents something larger than a single movie. It is a test of whether original blockbuster filmmaking still has a place in modern Hollywood, whether audiences will pay premium prices for a theatrical experience that genuinely feels unique, and whether Christopher Nolan's belief that cinema should remain an event rather than just another piece of content can still hold true. The financial stakes are enormous, the expectations are immense, and the risks are very real. Yet, so is a potential reward. If the Odyssey succeeds, it could reinforce the idea that visionary filmmakers can still command blockbuster budgets without relying on superheroes or sequels or cinematic universes. If it fails, Hollywood may become even more cautious about funding ambitious original projects. Either way, the result will tell us something important about the future of cinema. And on July 17, 2026, the entire industry will be watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe for more deep dive into movies. And let me know in the comments, are you looking forward to the Odyssey? I will be back with another video very soon. Until then, it's bye from Box Office Bhaskar.